Good evening, Shaggy SoCal, and back again with what will be race 2 for next Thursday's event. Track workers have come out. They have added barriers and converted Lime Rock from the full circuit to the full circuit alt. Means we've got both chicanes to deal with. The lap count, I've not changed it. It's still the same lap count from the previous race. We'll figure that out here in a second. But same format. I'm going to run an outlap and a flyer. Then I'll do a slow lap through the course, kind of pointing out things to look for, things I try to do, what seems to work. Then I'll run a mock race with the AI and kind of see how I do with racecraft and what situations are out there and where there might be trouble and where might be good opportunities to pass. So enough talking, more driving. Let's test drive. At least the first part of the lap, not much has changed. Still probably going to be braking around the 3 board into turn 1, third gear. I tend to stay a little bit to the right of the braking line, kind of open it up, late apex, out, still looking for that same PA system pull. Quick brake, late apex here. That's all the same as regular Lime Rock pull. This is where it gets different. And chicane down, 1 to go. Quite what I want to do there. That's going to be one. That was pretty ugly. We'll go through that on the slow lap. This is the layout that I'm still trying to figure the ins and outs on. So I probably won't go as in depth on the early part of this lap that I did in the previous one, but in case you didn't watch the previous one, coming down the front straight in the Macan here, 4th gear, you're going to brake about, at least for me, again, I'm on a controller, 200 brake pressure on the tune. I am braking for turn 1 right about just as I pass the 3 board. I find that if I go any later than that, then I run the risk of not being able or pushing wide on entry, which, especially if I'm trying to pass somebody, I don't want to run them off the road or like that. So again, threshold braking about the 3 board, I'll actually start to try and turn the car in to kind of bring it back across the track as I call it like diming the corner on entry. Drop it down to 3rd gear, release the brakes about here, and then just kind of treat this as a nice double apex. The curbing and the cones are usually a good help to figure out where you need to be. As you leave the white curbing there, bring it out a little bit. Spot the white curbing the next part of the corner. Bring it back in, late apex it. Bring it back out wide, still in 3rd gear. Bring it back across to the right. Again, what I look for as far as trying to time my braking, the cone up ahead is what I use as my turn-in point. And the braking line actually turns red just before it. Where I'm actually using to help me get consistent with the braking is, I mean, you see the poles here for the PA system. It's that pole right there that's underneath the rearview mirror. As that's going out of my field of view, as I'm getting set straight, coming up to this cone, as that PA pole goes out of view, if I'm set up right, that's right about where I'll be touching the brake. And I think it's usually just a quick brush of the brake, release, and at this cone, then I turn in. Uh, Try and stay wide. Don't go too wide where you drop tires off on the right side, because it'll either suck you off into the grass or it'll pitch the car. It'll pitch the back end out to the right. It'll spin you sideways. Slowly roll back in. Roll back into the throttle. Slow, slow. Late apex this one. You'll be back to full throttle very briefly. Keep it on the right side. For me, turn-in is about here where this patch of grass is, I think. And usually it's just a quick lift of the throttle to help turn in for me. You can eat a bit of this curb. Start to roll back into the throttle. Out. Use a bit of this exit curbing. Still in third gear. Bring it back across. Eat the curbing here. Try and straighten this not so straight as much as you can. This is where it gets different than, obviously, well, it's different because there's a chicane coming up. But on the normal full circuit, I'd be in third gear. I would shift up to fourth, and where I would brake for then the sweeping uphill, that uphill right-hander would be right where the white curbing starts on the left side. For the alt version for this chicane, what I'm finding with the Macan is leave it in third. Bring the car back across, and you're going to be banging. If you've gotten a really good exit, you'll be banging the rev limiter a little bit as you get into the braking zone. I hashtag me personally, I prefer that than being in fourth, just because I want as much help with engine braking as I can get, leaving it in the higher gear. What I'm using to help time the braking is this big tree that's just on the outside of the catch fence. That's my braking marker. So I'm in third gear. As I get to this tree, it's very hard brake. You'll be on the rev limiter, brake, 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 brake. I'll actually start to bring the car across as I'm still threshold braking, but this is me braking. That's probably the absolute latest you can brake, because I'm on the brake, threshold braking almost until I get to the apex here, and then I'm releasing the brake at this point. And again, the way with me on the controller, I've probably got the stick all the way to the right anyway. So under braking, the Porsche is not going to turn. The second I release the brakes and free up those front tires, they're going to grip up and the car's going to turn. So you guys on the wheel, I don't know what that adjustment will be like for you. It might be because you've got a little more control over your steering. It might be you're going to start to slightly turn as you're under that threshold braking, but then as you release off, then you'll dial in the rest of the steering that you need to make this first part of the corner. This one, I would say, again, as far as time penalties, I would argue that this curbing here is probably going to cause the most issues with cut course and time penalties. Again, the barrier won't be there, so I think it's going to make it much easier to eat too much of this curb. But ultimately, what I'm trying to do, if I've done it right, I'll be in second gear, and I'll have the Macan pretty much almost pointed, straight diagonal, or straight up, straight diagonal, straight up, where it's apex, 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 going up over the hill. And at this point, the idea was I should be able to then go full throttle and kind of get through the exit of the chicane and crest the hill with minimal steering input. So that's the goal. I don't always do it. It's very easy to overcook the entry to this chicane, especially if you're going to brake as late as I do. So ideally, second gear, press it here, maybe bring it back, bring it to the right a little bit. Eat a lot of this one. And you can see you can eat a lot of this curbing and not get a time penalty. Cresting the hill. Again, if you keep it straight, you can get on that curbing a little bit, but you can kind of see how even as I got on it, the car started to move a little bit to the right. So I'd say try and stay off that exit curbing as you crest the hill. And again, I then treat this curbing as an apex, stay off of it, bring it out, still in third gear, up through here. That's one chicane down, one to go. This one I'm still trying to get consistently right, but in bringing the Macan back out the left side, I'm getting on the brakes. At first, when I was starting to do this, I was braking right about where the curving starts there, and then I was realizing that I was getting wound down, and that might still be the best place to brake. If you want to be conservative, brake at the start of that curving there. If you want to, if you want to live a little more dangerously, you might be able to get to the brakes kind of about where I would say this inside curving kind of curves in, or where the start of that cone is. Um, so you can hit the brakes there, and it's usually for me it's been an immediate downshift to second. And I have been following the braking line, so I'm not worried about trying to hit that apex. Because what I'm trying to do for this is is brake as much in a straight line to get it wide to the left side on the entry, and then I'm going to, well, let's get to that point. This is what I think works. So I want to bring it out here, but I want to try and then release the brakes and get the Macan turned back in. And I think ideally, an ideal scenario on your own, no traffic, you're not trying to pass anybody, is to get the Macan kind of sitting here, kind of straddling the curbing here, pointed. Because ultimately, what I'm trying to do is if I can get onto full throttle here and have it set up, I want to be able to go full throttle. And let me back it up here a second. Because it's not, if you get set up well on this inside curbing, if you kind of hit this apex and you straddle it, you're still going to want to bring the Macan just a little bit to the left, just to open the exit of the chicane up just enough where then you can stay on full throttle, eat a bit of this inside curbing, and bring the Macan all the way out here. Still in third gear, well, you'll shift back up to third gear at this point, because that chicane I'll do in second. Bring it down the hill. Again, what I talked about, and what I talked about in the previous thing with Lime Rock full, is what I'm looking for as I'm coming down the hill in relation to the braking line. If you look at the Armco barrier, the three steel, aluminum things on the side there, the middle one, just down towards the base of the hill, you'll see one that kind of sticks out because it's a much lighter color than the other two above and below it. That's kind of what I'm trying to find as an additional reference for turn in for the final corner here into the front straight. On Lime Rock full, because we don't have the chicane at the top of the hill, I'm usually in fourth gear coming down the hill, making this corner. For this alt version with both chicanes, I'm in third. But I'm still trying to spot that as best I can. You're not carrying as much speed, but because you're also at the top of the rev range in third gear, when you might, if you get the line right, you might be able to stay on full throttle as you enter. You're not going to be able, well, here's the challenge. I can't take this flat. There's just too much understeer to take this flat in full throttle. Two things I've been doing is I've been trying to, in my being consistently inconsistent, is if I get the line right, a lot of times I can stay on the throttle on turn in, but I'm going to have to lift slightly. Again, it's just I don't want to say it's a confidence lift, but it's just enough of a lift in the throttle. I'm not coming all the way out of it, just enough. Again, it's what I would call freeing up the front tires. I'm just getting out of the throttle enough to get a little weight on the front tires, to give a little more grip, so that the Macan will then kind of turn at the apex. So I'm not going to push off wide. Um, I think that's one way I do it. Another way I'll do it is sometimes I may, if I'm late or I'm unsure of it, I may completely like, quickly come out of the throttle and then start to roll back in immediately, try and induce a little lift off oversteer and help with the rotation. So kind of two different philosophies that I've been playing around with. I don't know if one works better than the other. I think for me it's kind of a situational thing of, well, did I make the turn in point correctly or did I blow it? Plus also traffic will play into it as well. But ultimately I'll be in third gear at the apex. As soon as I clear the apex and I'm starting to exit, you know, up to you. Excuse me. As far as when you want to shift to fourth, if you want to leave it in third all the way out and shift it fourth once you're kind of fully exited on the front straight, great. If you want to short shift a little early and you get into fourth, I don't know the ideal shift point. For me, I usually will probably wind it out in third and then shift to fourth onto the front straight. And then at this point, it's kind of back to regular lime rock. You know, you'll be in fourth gear. You can wind it out in fourth gear all the way down to turn one, and again braking at the three board. So the interesting things with those two chicanes, I think it's gonna make this a bit more technical. It also may open up some, you know, it definitely should open up some passing opportunities, and it might open up some incidents of contact as well. So, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to exit out of this, and let's get into a mock race and kind of see what things happen here. Let me finish the test drive. And now in Lime Rock, regular Lime Rock, it was, yeah, I'm guesstimating 35, 36 laps for the race based off my pace. But let's see, it was what, like minute 5, so 100 seconds in a 35 minutes. Divided by roughly, we'll say 65 seconds a lap. For me, that's about 32.3. So yeah, we'll do 32 laps. That's my unscientific method of figuring out or guesstimating what the potential race length will be. So go ahead and start the race. Same group of cars I'm racing against, same delays. We'll let the A-class cars get the head start, and I'll head out, what, 50 seconds after them? Yep. Then I'll have the S-class, and then followed by the R-class cars chasing me down. This should be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what happens in the chicanes. I would imagine the AI I think just typically will be taking that a lot slower than I will. But this is one of those when I was kind of doing my practice, right, you know, kind of get the feel for the track. I did the practice race on Lime Rock full. I haven't done one on this layout yet, so this will be new for me as well. In first gear, should be in first gear. Yep. Quick a start as maybe I wanted, but third. Next one's about there. Bring it out. There, roll back in. Let pull. Okay, leave it in third. Leave it in third. Bounce that rev limiter. Yeah, that wasn't well done. Where I'm braking at, I'll try and point it out as I hit that, as I get ready for brake for that second chicane. What I'll point out is just it's kind of like what I had on the previous Lime Rock. It's when you look at the curbing, where the point of that curbing is about where I'm, at least perception wise, where it looks like the curbing point, kind of ends at a point. That's about what I'm using as a reference for braking for that second chicane. A little conservative. So if you kind of look at where that inside curbing kind of ends in a point. Oh yes, I was looking too much over there and not enough about how close I was to the edge of the track. But again, play around with that. That you kind of use that curbing as a guide along with the braking line to help you figure out what works best for you. And this is going to be another one where I'm not going to get a clean lap to save my life. Well, as I say that, I just did a clean lap, but that's probably maybe a second off where I think I can get to. I'd imagine that's going to be very tough to not incur time penalties on these chicanes, especially the exit of that one and the entry to the first one. Earlier than I wanted. And again, when you see me doing quick lifts like that, it's usually me kind of sensing that I'm pushing a little more than I want to. It's just a quick lift to help the front turn. Well, 5-1. Ooh, look at that Porsche slide. That would be a big time penalty there. Just thinking about doing the dive in the inside, and then it's like he kept it there. Let me see if we can get him on the exit. Nope. stuff like that's going, stuff like that I'm sure is going to happen with my con on race night. So there's an example where I wasn't sure that I had the turn in right. So, I did a confidence lift there. It helped the back end rotate out a little bit so that I didn't completely blow the corner. Hey, the more I'm doing that, I think for me the preference would be to keep it kind of not really turn in until I'm releasing the brakes. That first chicane. I was half expecting him to kind of push me wide. Try and stick it past him. Oh, that's bad. Give me work for that one. Excuse me. Yeah, if you get trapped on the outside, heading into that first chicane, hopefully there's not too much other traffic where you can, kind of give up the corner, but then just slide in behind the guy on the exit. I'm just kind of laughing. It's just like I think everybody had passed into that chicane, and the AI driver cars kind of freak out and don't know how to handle the exit once they've been passed. All right, try and set a little bit of clear traffic maybe for this lap. What we'll do is we'll kind of the same as I always do. We'll pit halfway through the race, lap 16, and where we wind up. So I think these extra chicanes really kind of wreaking havoc with the AI as far as their overall pace. Yeah, I'm going to take a look. So I put it down to 2 just to make sure I could hold the inside. And even there, I did left front fender to right rear quarter panel on him. If he was Macan, I bet you we would have gotten stuck together. dare pit. Don't you dare pit. Yeah, I thought I mean, I've pretty much worked my way through most of the A-class traffic. So I'm guessing the car in S-class is having a little bit more difficulty getting through traffic today. Famous Creaviator. It'll straighten me out. Come on, get going. Yeah, see, just don't wait. You make fast. You gotta attempt fast. There we go. That was halfway decent. With a good one. 4-9. I'm gonna try something. Just because I'm kind of in a rhythm. Again, I've been banging the rev limiter in third. Let me actually try getting up to fourth gear these next couple laps. See what the difference feels like. Just, I don't think the Macan slows down as quickly because I'm starting to get to the brakes in a higher gear. I'm not getting the immediate effect of the engine braking. Try one more time. Yeah, if you're gonna go to fourth, you'll probably want to get to the brakes a little bit earlier. Oh, that would have been a tough one. Oh, and gravy either. Yo. I wonder. Every now and then I wonder because when I see the Drivatar rewards, your Drivatar has appeared in X amount of races and has earned this many credits. I always kind of wonder if, like, is my Drivatar out there like wreaking havoc with other players and running them off the road and making last minute passes or T-boning them into a corner, like turn 5 at Road America. Who knows? You're going to get past me. You're going to get past the next guy. That was a bit rude of me, but kind of looking at the map, and I'm not sure if I've got much more in me than a 1049, but I've got these three guys in front of me. Probably by the time I finish working past them, we'll have caught the back of the field again. So this lap is about half second off. Yep, half second off. A bit wide there. Come on, get moving. You try and park it on the apex. Whoosh you out of the way. See if I can set up the run into that first chicane. Might be too far back. Yeah, I'm a little too far back. But I might be able to take a look here. But just in time too. Graviator's back. I mean, not the real Graviator, but you know, Graviator's digital cousin. We'll catch the back of the field as quickly as I thought we would. By MJJ here this lap, I might have a few laps to try and improve my fast lap. Sorry. I'm not as agile as you are through there. This next lap's probably going to be dirty too. Yep, I made sure. And I think I still shortcutted the course too, so. And then at least a little earlier than I think ideally I'd like to for that. I'm going to rewind that because I want to try and get. I usually don't like doing that, but at this point I do want to see if I can knock a few tenths off my fast time just to see what I can do. So I think that's the best I've done that last turn in this race. Don't know why I downshift a second there. Nope, couldn't go quicker. So that's Lime Rock full alt. It's not as flowing and high speed as the regular circuit, but definitely the chicanes are going to make life very interesting during the race. But with that, that should be it for the track guides. Hope you guys have a great weekend. I won't, if schedule holds, knock on wood, I won't make the first race, but hopefully, I'll make this one. So hope you guys have a great weekend and happy racing.